Hillary, this is the podcast that you were born to star in.
I've been training my whole life for this.
This is dogs. This is wine. This is everything your
life has been waiting for.
Basically. You just finished my sentence?
I think we've been hanging out too much.
Kinda
this whole 1 hour this week was a little too much.
Too much for me, Hill. All right. Well, I'm excited to see how Dog Farm goes. So everybody...
stay tuned.
Hillary, good evening.
Hi, Chris.
This is the most Hillary podcast I can think of.
I'm so excited.
I'm pumped for you. We came to the dog farm today. We were greeted with about 10 different labs. Mm-hmm. Hillary is completely in her element. If I could show you the smile on her face to our listeners, it would it's pretty incredible. So
I'm pretty excited.
Thank you for setting this up.
Yeah.
Can you enlighten us on where we are?
So today we're at Dog Farm in St. Helena, Wally's birth parents' home, which is a big deal.
Does he feel akin back here at home?
I think so. I think he's here with us.
I know, yeah. He's outside hanging.
And we have some incredible wine we get to drink tonight.
Well, let's hear about it.
Well,
let's introduce the people who are responsible for it.
Yeah.
All right.
So tonight we have Bridget, Maayan, and Gan of Dog Farm. Yay!
Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So psyched to be doing this. I think we've listened to you guys.
Yeah, we're
about
originals.
100 times.
We're early subscribers.
We are OG 911.
Yeah, we are OG
lovers.
911. Yeah.
You know, there's a very small percentage of people that can claim that. 1% of the 1% that actually listen to it. So thank you guys. Yeah.
Up high where the air is crisp.
Yeah.
We are in rarefied air up here.
Yeah.
So explain where we are here. We're above Meadowood.
Yep.
Kind of across from the old Thorvillos.
Yeah, we're up above Meadowood. We're kind of nestled between Seven Stones, just right below us here, and overlooking Thorvillos, and then lucky enough to be next to Herb Lamb's vineyards right there. And then the Maybach vineyard is kind of tucked in there too. So originally this land hadn't been planted to grapes, and we moved here about 11 years ago and kind of got used to being here and the environment and started going, well, there's all this beautiful fruit right all around us. Why don't we start taking the stab at it? So we did that back in 2015.
We got so lucky with this place. I mean,
Yeah.
we're like, you have to go through Meadowood to get to us, but we're not part of Meadowood. But you feel like you're part of Meadowood. It's like we're the only house with doorman service, right? But they're not our doorman. They're kind of our doorman.
We're forced into it. Yeah.
The funny thing is, the neighbor, the address used to be a Mund Road address off the back, and there's a really kind of janky, beat up road that goes off the back, which is how I'm able to go to work every day. But the owners before us changed it to a Meadowood address, and I remember first driving here, and you're going straight up a hill. It's like you're taking off in an airplane, right? And I'm like, there's no way I would drive up and down that hill every day to live here.
30 times a day.
Sure enough. Here we are.
I wouldn't drive out on Pope Street Bridge 20 times a day, but somehow yet I do it.
It feels like a shorter drive every time I do it.
And you have a unique form of transportation.
I do. I'm kind of an e-rider. So it started, I had an electric motorcycle, which kind of got me into this whole electric thing. And it has nothing to do with saving the planet or being green. It really is more about just, it feels cool. And it's quiet, and I don't wake up anybody. And that burned down in the fire. So now I kind of went to the one wheel, which a lot of people know about one wheels, and you see more and more of them around town. In fact, Maayan and I have enjoyed a one wheel together until eventually everybody breaks a bone on a one wheel.
You guys are on the same one wheel?
Yeah, it's a trick. It's a trick. We got 1 foot each. Yeah, like dancing bears in the circus. But we love each other. So.
They mind to see that.
But yeah, that's how I get to work every day. And it's not a one wheel. It's an electric unicycle, but it's the same thing. I fall a lot less on it. It's a good time. I have to go by the Adventist elementary school on the way to work, and so many moms put down their window and say, "Where's your helmet?" And I said, "Right next to your bicycle."
But then the kids cheer.
Yeah, the kids do. And every time I go by, they're like, "Cool." So.
Well, the
Even the emus, because the emu farm on the way, even the emus give me a little, they make a little noise when I go by. So.
Then you have to deal with the doctor's parking lot, which is a disaster.
But he does get in trouble for riding it in the hospital sometimes.
Well, I ride to the hospital, and I have a very short hallway in the hospital. I have to go to get to my office, but there are a couple elder statesmen of the hospital that do not like me
inside the building.
Yes, they do not like me. I have been chastised on more than one occasion. Luckily, I'm usually getting there before people are getting there, and I'm leaving after, and so they don't see me as often. But yes, I have been known to sneak in.
That's amazing.
Well,
Very nice.
tonight we're going to do the October 2023 log, which we have some really good logs.
So many good
And
ones.
then instead of an old one, I have a fun video to share later on with story time. And I actually printed off the article too for Chris
Good, I have it.
about the video.
Good. Here
But
it
does
is.
anyone have a fun log they want to start us off with?
I mean, I'm a sucker for the dog ones, obviously. I think there's a theme, to the wine, to the property. And so there have been a couple of, I noticed perusing the October 2nd edition, a couple of dog ones. There was one at 21, what is that, 801, the report of loose dog flinging itself at a man and his dog on Spring Street. There's no resolution, unfortunately. Just a report. And then there was another pretty good dog one. A little black and white dog named Buster was found on St. James.
That's a happy
Success,
ending.
yeah.
Good. You made it.
Yeah. I mean, those are the dog ones. There's others, but I don't want to hog it all. You got one, Bridge?
I like the person who's trying to escape from witchcraft people. So on October 18th at 3:04 in the morning, a man said he came to St. Helena to escape from people who practice witchcraft. He said they'd follow him all the way from Napa and tried to destroy his Mercedes. He's currently in a Hunt Avenue parking lot and said that the men were up in the trees.
Oh,
Wow.
Have you seen those, man? You guys have lived here a lot longer than I
Yeah, I
have.
know.
every time you
Seriously.
go to Safeway, you don't see them, they wave.
Start looking. That's terrifying.
Only excitement in St. Helena.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Maayan's got one. What do you got? You got a good one?
What we wrote here? October 26, 9:53. A caller from Santa Rosa asked police to check the Fulton Railroad area for a street sweeper with dual wheels on the back. An employee quit and might have driven it home. I think we see it too many times with farming companies and tractors traveling around.
Oh my! Is this a good time to get into
I
our?
think we should just do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in Calistoga,
Speaking of stolen farm equipment.
this would have been in February. This is a nice little video.
We're gonna show it. We're gonna pause it for our friends that are listening.
You can see. Kid
Wait,
with socks
so-
on. So
Wait.
a man in Calistoga.
Well, I think I should read the what we just
Read-
what
yeah.
we just watched. I'll
Yes,
read the
yeah.
official account from the
Transcript.
from the Napa Valley Register. Napa County Sheriff's deputies used a stun gun to subdue a man after the pursuit of a stolen farm vehicle Thursday morning in Calistoga. Knowing what we already know, a stun gun may have been a painful event for this man. 11:20 a.m. Deputies were told that a man had taken a Kubota X900 rugged all-terrain vehicle from a property in the 1200 block of Bennett Lane, then driven it to a gate on nearby roads, according to spokesperson Henry Wofford. A witness said the man's clothes were set on fire before the theft. Therefore, he was naked. Sheriff's deputy tried to stop the driver in a pursuit involving several agencies. The driver, identified as 42-year-old Jesse, crossed a double yellow line, then crashed his RTV into a patrol car and a hillside on the 3800 block of 128. Jobsberg then ran from the vehicle, but deputies stopped him with a taser and arrested him at 12:15.
I mean, I gotta say, one of the best parts of that video, though, is the professionalism of the police cars that are walling him in. And Maayan was in his military training a professional driver, so maybe you can rate. What did you think about the way?
Calistoga police are the best. Argue with success.
They could go fight for Israel.
Especially these days.
I think my favorite was the text went out and it was like a slow pursuit.
Yeah.
And then he has his socks on still. Thank goodness.
He couldn't get around him though.
He was juking with the best of them, man.
The amazing thing is I've seen like 3 or 4 other videos of that same guy from different perspectives. One was over, like, I thought it was closer to like the Rutherford Grill or something.
Too far away.
You never know.
Yeah.
So here's my prediction for the tractor parade. I might be blowing our plan. We can edit this out later, but if someone doesn't dress up in a skin-colored bodysuit with a yellow, with an orange Kubota and get a cop car to run behind them for the tractor parade,
missed opportunity.
Then we've all failed.
That's fantastic.
I think we need to hear a little bit about the wine.
Oh my gosh!
What are we starting off with?
Well, we didn't actually officially introduce Maayan either.
Yeah.
True.
So Maayan Koschitzky, am I saying that right?
Yeah, Koschitzky.
Koschitzky.
Close enough.
I want to make sure I'm butchering it. Is the winemaker here, but yeah. So we want to introduce him, of course, and then talk about how Dog Farm and the wines came to be.
Yeah. So you want to start how we met and?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if we named. Bridget had Dog Farm on her license plate, and we have had dogs for over 10, 13 years while we started breeding. We had dogs a lot longer, but started to breed them not long ago. And so we had, she had Dog Farm on her license plate, and it was amazing how many people would come to us and
take pictures.
What is a Dog Farm? Wait, that's cool license
Or just
plate.
take pictures of our license plate in the parking lot. I'd be like, whatever.
Or the 7 dogs in the car.
Right, yeah. That probably didn't contribute to it.
And neither one of us, we've always loved wine, but we don't know really much about the industry other than drinking it. But we had some property, just enough, barely enough, I think, to be able to grow some grapes, and thought this might be a fun endeavor. Now we're settled in. We know we never want to leave. We love it here, and so how do we do this? And we basically talked to a guy, great guy. He's recently passed away, Harry Parsley, who was basically a vineyard consultant for us, and he helped with all of the process of getting permits figured out. But he put out basically I don't know, Maayan, from your side, he basically put out an ask for any winemakers that might be interested in starting a new project, I guess.
He selected certain ones.
Okay.
But what was cute is that he was like asking for the resume from Maayan. And we're like baby pants.
Let's hear Maayan's
what we're doing.
perspective. He tells a funny story about it.
Okay.
No, he was hilarious. I mean, he
so
reached
sweet.
out. He passed away, but he reached out, I think, to 3 or 4 winemakers that worked with the farming company, which is Pina. Mm-hmm. Justin from Pina farms this vineyard, and he kind of reached out to me, and I said, "Yeah, I'll come meet them and see what is it." And Pina, Justin,
he wasn't willing to fill out the 20-page application.
No, I don't have a resume, so I don't know what to send, but I'll come over. So I remember I came here and it was hilarious. We were sitting right here in the little guest house where we are talking right now, and Gan and Bridget and another their best friends that are also involved in this for an official interview. We ended up drinking a lot of wine, and the vineyard was just planted. It was literally 1 year old. And they were talking with me about grapes or fermentation, and they need a winemaker. And they've been interviewing winemakers, and I looked outside and I said, "Why do you guys need a winemaker?" And literally, I was like, "Why do you need a winemaker? You have 4 more years until you're going to have 1 cluster of grapes."
And then he saw our face fall, and tears start streaming down her eye.
And I think everyone else, maybe I was the only one that came and say, "You guys don't hire."
We're like, this is who we like. The people.
Don't waste money. And we walked out.
Right here with us.
Yeah, so this is a great potential. It's a beautiful neighborhood with great wines around here. Call me in 3 years, we'll talk.
That's right.
And that's what happened?
Well, actually, no. That's
we accelerated it because the little secret that people that don't live in Napa, realize is that you don't necessarily have to have your own grapes in your own yard to make wine, right? And if you have a good winemaker, they know how to find the grapes usually. So.
Yeah, I think we connected a few days later and said, "You know what? We want to start making wine."
Let's start making wine.
Beautiful.
Despite your protestations, we would like wine tomorrow.
Screw you. Let's make wine now.
Right. And we want you, and only you.
yeah.
But the organic nature of it was like just when he came, like we're just like, oh, okay, well, you're our person, like you're our people. Like it's just we're well, obviously we care about this valley, we care about our own property, we want to make good wine. We're not in this for our business.
No, we don't.
Right,
we don't
and so it really matters, the people that we work with, whether it's everybody, you guys. Like I mean, like I love what you guys. Someone's asking me today, like what. I'm like, you gotta listen to this podcast. Like, they have regular jobs. They're doing other real things all day long, and they still are making time because they're so connected to where they're from as they go, and they're always bringing awareness and just encouraging all the little best little gems of this valley. Even this,
and
right?
And just general public safety.
No, but I mean, it's so great. So the irreverence of it is we are serious about life, but we're also irreverent. And I think that tapping into that with Maayan, who's obviously an expert and so skilled, and we worship him. But I like the irreverent factor we connected with immediately, and that's kind of how we tend to do our stuff. Right.
So we didn't know where it's gonna go. So the first year I said, you know what, let's just make a little bit. Like you guys, you know how it is, right? We make wine and then suddenly there's pallets of wine. It's like, oh shit, this is a lot of wine.
Let's do it. And this is the first year, 18?
Yeah. It's like, wow, the 75 cases was a great idea, but now I have like 900 bottles to go for, and there's only like 360 something days. So it's like,
this sounds like a great problem.
It's
back
true.
to Gan's original comment, right? Like as long as we like it.
And
it's all
then
good.
after we bottled the wine, the first day after we bottled the wine, I'm getting a gift home, a big box, and I'm opening it, and it's a one wheel. It's a one-wheeler that Gan sent me.
That's right.
It's like, just sign the waiver and you're not going to sue me for breaking anything. But here's a one-wheeler for you, just to start practicing.
I literally applied to be a one-wheel distributor, and they said, you have to have an official storefront. And, we didn't have an official wine. So I said, okay, well, this is great. Once DOGFARM's legit, which was going to be a couple years later, but once it was legit, I was going to be one. Since then, there have been so many lawsuits that I'm like, thank God, I'm not a one-wheel distributor.
Here, drink and drive on this thing with your totally uncoordinated self.
I can't believe I'm not in this blotter.
Give it time.
But it's really fun. I mean, there is like when you go in Napa in the afternoons, there is like a gang of like 12 one-wheelers that are driving around downtown Napa every day, and it's really cool. Once you get a little more,
that's what you call a yuppie gang. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a few $1,000 little one-wheeler.
Those aren't Hell's Angels.
Stopping by the French Laundry for a snack, and then on the road again.
Grab some vegetables to go. And,
like my kids, if I can't get my quenelles from the Bistro Gentil, then I don't know where I'm going to go.
So yeah, that's how it was born, and we made a bit of wine, which was super fun, and we definitely put a lot of focus on the estate, and we decided that we are going to invest in estate as well, and we have a little over an acre of one of the best areas in Napa, so it's going to be a fun Cabernet that's going to come under the DOGFARM.
Yeah. What will be the first year from the estate then?
Well, unfortunately, we had some fire around here, so we had to replant some of the sections. But on the other end, that cleared a lot of forest, so we have much more sun now.
Cool.
For good and for bad, obviously. So we'll probably have a wine from 23 already, and then moving forward, we'll have more production once everything comes back online.
Right on. Yeah. So as we taste this, I got to hear a little bit about Maayan's journey in winemaking here, because there's a few really well-known wineries and people that he's worked with, and it's a pretty exciting journey. Can you just run us through the?
Yeah, I'll do it quick because it's not that interesting. But
yes,
I get away with my funny accent as a French, but I'm not really a French. Everyone assume I'm a French. Everyone.
I love that you say a French.
A French guy. I work with a French.
I'm a French. I sound like a French.
Is a frog. And, so
that's a noun.
Born and raised in Israel, in the Judean hills, just around Jerusalem, on a farm where farmers, conventional farmers for fruits and vegetables, and I went to the military, served for a few years, and then
let's not forget your mom wanted a girl.
My mom wanted,
and your name means
it's true. My name is a girl name actually. It's not a boy's name. And Gan found out about it.
Because another Israeli student visiting me said, I said his name is Maayan. He said that's impossible. That's a girl's name. And I called him immediately.
So right after he's like getting out of the surgery, he's like, You won't believe it. He says it's a girl name.
It's true. It means,
why it's
it
true.
means natural spring, right?
Natural spring, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Force of life.
Exactly.
Force of life.
Hey, for the record, 40 years later, now it's trendy for boys.
It
and
is.
girls.
I've seen this. Yes.
Exactly.
You
So
started the trend.
Yes. Yeah.
name.
It feels like you were the boy named Sue in Israel, and you had Sue became a paratrooper and joined the IDF.
Had to,
and
had
like,
to.
you
Right,
had,
yeah, overcompensating,
Exactly.
but very successfully.
he had to be
Yes.
tough, and he proved himself in the army, and now and then made it over here.
Exactly. So yeah, joined, served, went and studied mechanical engineering actually with a focus on agriculture. And my thesis was about sorting grapes, and I kind of fell in love with the idea of making wine. You know, looking at my father farming conventionally vegetables and fruit, it looked like, you know, not very romantic or sexy, right? It's a lot of work and it's hard work. And wine was booming in Israel, so it was an opportunity to combine art and science, combine, you know, the end product with production of agriculture. So started to make wine back in 2004. And in 2011, decided to move here to California, and I was lucky enough to land right at Screaming Eagle. So for my first harvest,
Ever heard of it?
Like for
You know, it rings a bell.
and it's kind of the running joke that I started at the top and I'm going downhill from there. That's always the running joke about my career here, so which is fine.
That's how we're springboarding them back up with DOGFARM.
Right on top.
Luckily,
Don't worry, we're here for you, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I left Screaming. I was at Screaming Eagle for a few years. Went to work for Dalla Valle, another amazing estate up on the mountains. And then in 2015, joined Philippe Melka, who is a French-American consultant winemaker here in the valley, and kind of joined him for a year to learn about consulting. And I never did consulting in my life. I was always on estate winemaking. So it was really fun to see multiple vineyards and properties and visions of brands, and kind of fell in love with the whole consulting thing, and stayed with Philippe, became the director of winemaking, GM, and his partner. And then I have my own brand called Lapel Wines, and I do a few little things, a few projects outside of that, which DOGFARM became very close to my heart. With I have one of those dogs in my home. She's my love.
no way.
She's always with me, always. And,
That was part of the sign-on bonus.
Exactly.
And one wheel and a dog.
Another
gorgeous.
major tell is, his wine is lapel, which is the shovel. And we had, when we moved into this house, the people left a sculpture, but it's basically a massive shovel, like a shovel for giants, right? Yeah. And unfortunately, the wooden part burned up in the fire, but we still have the shovel head, which I still promised.
no, it's a symbol. It's
It's the size of this building.
It is officially lapel shovel. We just don't have anywhere. We have no idea how to move that thing.
We still want to put it on St. Helena somewhere. Just
no,
stick it in the
seriously.
ground somewhere.
When they do, yes,
Statue.
instead of the
Maybe in your vineyards, right? On 29.
No,
Right?
seriously.
There you go. Yeah, right by the nursery school.
Yes, right. And lapel is delicious.
It'll be the new Welcome to Napa Valley sign.
Oh, there you go.
That's right.
Totally.
Like, it'll be the new
Just
trendy
behind it.
influencer.
Here we go.
But that was, I remember after first time I came here, Gan texted me a picture.
You want this?
You want this? I was like, where am I going to put this? I mean, this is
Well, what's so funny is so I just have it earmarked. Okay, that's my own shovel.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't
like
do anything about it. Sure enough, the owners of this house from before, they still live here part time. It's I don't know now 14 years later. The other day they said something about, we're gonna come get our shovel. I'm like, no, you're not. That is my own shovel.
My own shovel. Right.
No, it's for sale.
Have you ever heard of lapel?
100 grand it is.
Fight me for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it burned in the fire.
So anyway, so we started DOGFARM in 18. We were trying the Cabernet here, which is the
This
first
is the 18.
vintage.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so smooth. Like it's just really real, well
Yeah, and
polished.
great vintage, right? We
Yeah.
are very lucky with 18 and 19 back to back. Kind of our first two vintages with beautiful core dark fruit and nice structure and tannins, but great texture. And the wines are really coming around. The 18s are tasting amazing right now.
Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful. To me, the 18s were always a little bit more like tannic and a little more tight
Yeah,
than
tight.
the
I was
19s
gonna say
even.
tight. Yeah.
So I'm excited to try the 19 too.
What's funny is, so I work with a bunch of doctors who all think that they know about wine because they're doctors. So they think they know about everything. and sure enough, very first day, Maayans sent us the first wine. It's just in unlabeled bottles and whatever. And I come home with a friend, and I'm like, oh God, I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. And we both say,
Which is so hilarious.
oh my God, it's really good. So immediately I have all these doctors over, and we do a blind taste testing with, I don't know, I just picked a bunch of what I considered comps, like 4 or 5 others. totally blew it. It won.
Nice.
It won on the first time. I'm like, all right, we must be
We're onto something.
here. We're onto
You're the right guy.
House palate.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, it's doctor's wine for sure.
Maayan's the best.
Oh, come on.
No, you are. And also,
We're having fun. We're enjoying ourselves.
no, we are. But also, I have to say that one of the things I really like about you, and part of it is for us not being from here, and yeah, we've been here for whatever, over a decade, but the way that you connect people with people, the good people, right? You know, that people that actually are really invested in doing business the right way and really have strong relationships. Like, it's just something that it can be a really corporate thing. Like Gan said earlier, like, we just came in like, oh, we have a property and we want to grow grapes because we're in a beautiful location with great soil. But like, we didn't want to be cheesy and be like, oh yeah, we want to make wine. And it starts when it comes to business, which it obviously is and needs to be. You still want to have that purity of someone who is literally every day doing what they love to do.
Right.
Organically picking the best and making connections with people that are the right fits for one another. And like, I know that you obviously have a big job with Melka as a partner in doing that, but I think the projects that you do in your own label reflect that like purity of you, which to me is like, you can't touch it. So
Yeah, the authenticity.
we feel really lucky
Yeah.
to be partnered with him.
You know, I'm from Virginia, and you know, there's always this idea of the Jeffersonian dinner where you sit around with a bunch of people you don't necessarily know and just have fun, and obviously wine makes that a reality. I think when Bridget and I thought about the idea of having a wine was like, that's a really fun way to spend your time. Have strangers, people, like when you go to these wine tasting experiences, you make these connections with people from all over the country that come in, and you share an appreciation for wine, but really you just share an appreciation for connecting with other people.
Yes.
You know, which is super fun, and I think that's kind of what we're hoping for. And the reason we connect with Maayan, and you know, his wife and kids have come over, and we've gone to their place, and like, it's the experience of it all. Bridget, you know, initially talked about DOGFARM. I mean, it's a funny name, like wondering what it is. But we said, you know, that we like this concept of sophistication with a wink. You know, like you love it when you go to like a fancy restaurant and the waiter's like maybe a little off color or just a little bit. You know, you're like, I like that. That's kind of the vibe.
Like, we take our wine serious, but not us seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, totally. You can
Absolutely.
respect that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what, as people that came here, not natives like you guys, right? It's important to respect it, I think, you know, and again, to reiterate, what I love what you guys do is that clearly you're honoring it as part of your essence.
It's very low budget, high authenticity,
I love it.
and of quite a niche market. But but here
We're
we
happy
are.
to be one of the five. Yeah.
So when seven people hear this, you know,
Don't forget about our mothers.
9.
Oh, but you know what? Talking about that, it made me think when you said about the Jeffersonian dinner, honey, is like, you guys both have been native here, but have all gone and done other things away and come back. And talk about that. Do you mind talking about that?
Oh my God, we're gonna interview. Have fun.
Wait, what are you doing?
No, but seriously, right? I mean, and like I said, you guys have both traveled far and had really
Let's meet the
big
host.
investments of your time,
Yeah.
and then chosen to come back here and kind of blend everything you've done.
Yeah.
And can you talk?
I'm
about
gonna go
that?
first because you're gonna show me up, and I don't.
No. Not at all. No.
Yeah. So like you said, born and raised. Did the whole St. Helena High School thing, left. I went to Boise State, got a degree in nursing, worked there for a while, then went back to school at Medical University of South Carolina, kind of split my time between there and Idaho, and then here at the end in nurse practitioner, and then now I came back, somehow found myself back here at the local hospital, and then just trying to continue to grow and change, and I mean, it's cheesy to say, but it is cool, like coming home and then like treating the people I grew up with and like helping them.
Of course. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then traveling different places in between and convincing Chris to start this podcast.
It was a 1-year process. I was like, Hilly, I'm not doing a podcast. This is ridiculous. And then I was like, you know what? It's actually kind of a good idea.
So
And we get to meet people.
that's my spark notes.
Well, good. Okay, thank you. My spark notes, let's see. Pre-podcast, which is the podcast was a defining moment in my life. But before that, I joined the Army in 2006 and then flew medevac for 12 years. So I was a medevac pilot. So, you know, Maayan and I have some kinship there with, so Army time, Army service, and so I deployed to Afghanistan, Iraq, and got to do some really great stuff. I always enjoyed the combination between medicine and, because I was EMT. I know. Easy, Gan, easy.
No, what you guys do is infinitely harder.
First on the scene, hard as shit. Yeah.
We call it medicine, but like I'm saying, it's above medicine.
Can't help himself.
It is above.
He cannot help himself. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep. Just pack the holes and put them in the meat wagon. It's like that combination between medical and aviation, and then
fall out of the chopper.
just a ride to the hospital. And it was always fascinating. I love that crew aspect, working with people, and you get to be really good buddies real quick, close with the folks you work with. So, I enjoyed that. And then it was time to come back home and help on the ranch a little bit, and did that. And then the podcast gives me my my excitement that I miss out from in the flying medevac. Right? Yeah.
It makes you.
I mean, I was gonna say, Bridget said you guys have other things you do, and I was like, no, this is it. This is my.
This is your exit plan.
You guys are getting paid for this?
It's so strategic. Yeah.
You think it takes me 5 business days to get a hold of Chris, but in reality, he's actually texting me every morning. I wake up and I have a whole list of podcast thoughts.
Yeah. So I prepare for these about 7 minutes prior to
driving in. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait, where are we going? Okay, good. No, this one was special because there's been so much hubbub around Dog Farm. I'm serious. I'm not trying to. Our mutual friend Alicia and John were really hyping you guys up. Hillary's been talking about you for 3 years, and I was like, we have to see this. It's exciting. So I did have a lot of read in on this. I'm excited.
There is a power to having dogs, period. And I will say we have now
11.
We have 11, but we've bred and distributed about between 100 and 150 dogs, and a lot of them in the Napa Valley, whatever that was, that called Screaming Eagle. I can't remember what that one. I think there's a dog that runs around that vineyard.
There is one.
There's one.
Donna State.
Yeah. There's some vineyards. There's some dogs.
Leal.
That run around some vineyards, and our goal is to really populate all of Napa Valley.
And then you've got influence.
Yeah, Rivers Marie has a good one.
That's right.
You can be like the dog father. Hey, I understand your dog. We're gonna need some grapes here. And we can make this a partnership with the easy way or the hard way.
I can get Andy Beckstoffer.
No, they have dogs from a different place, and I'm like, I don't know why.
But it's true. Every time I go somewhere and I see a lab, I was like, are they from Gan and Bridget?
Yeah.
Almost, 70% of the time. Yeah, how did you know? Like, well, I have one.
Bridget will literally get on the plane with these puppies and deliver them to Colorado, to North Carolina, to Washington, D.C. She takes them all over the place. And I'm like, man, that's really full service.
That's incredible.
So when I get burnt out of medicine, I think that's...
You want to be that dog?
I would like that job. I would like to be the dog.
It is the best. I'm not going to lie to you.
Delivery.
It is, because people are like, oh, really? No, you don't have to. Do we? And I'm like, no, I love it. It's great. You go. The people are so excited. The people at the airport are so excited.
Oh,
the puppies know how to be. They really do. Yeah. It's like, it's just pure... It's funny, because I travel with one dog. She travels everywhere with me. And Gan,
Dog's been to Europe like 15 times.
Yeah, so Gan,
crazy.
Gan sometimes comes with me, sometimes he doesn't. And when
I gotta pee 3 times on that flight. That dog has never had an accident. Unbelievable.
But no, the puppy delivery thing. Seriously, I will take you up on that. It's fun.
I think that's gonna be my next move.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a full. You don't have to retire. Yeah, you can do that on your Fridays off.
Yeah, I recently quit my side hustle, so I've got some extra time now.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this 19, man. Look at the color on that guy, huh?
So great vintage, obviously.
Let's hear it, yeah.
So softer vintage, kind of more opulent, easy drinking, beautiful wines, great density. So I was really happy with the results. It's almost like when we released the 19s, it was like, let's drink the 19, put the 18 to bed for a second, and then come back to the 18 later because they needed more time. Beautiful. Really fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, to me, 19s have been so stellar, and this is no exception.
Yeah, this one is just fantastic. I love it.
What is your?
I hope nobody buys this one.
What release are you guys on right now? 18s or 19s?
Okay, so we actually didn't release the 18s. We held the 18s because it was our first vintage, and for us, that's kind of personal.
Special.
Right. And so we said, we're just going to keep it for us.
Cool.
And, whatever. We released the 19 in the fall. And so far, so good. And we're actually releasing our 20 Chardonnay, which you started with this week.
Cool.
And our Sauvignon Blanc that we released also in the fall too, which is delicious because Maayan is like a super exceptional Sauvignon Blanc maker.
I love my favorite varietal.
Really?
So you can't have him and not partake in the
It's the
talents.
St. Helena Porch Pounder.
Exactly.
You know how when you live here and you're exposed to all these incredible, amazing wines that nobody's ever heard of, that unless they're big time collectors, and these are premium wines, and so you don't just have a whole zillion of those sitting on the shelf ready to go. And so I'll go a little while, and every time I come back to this 19, I'm thinking, I think it's great, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to like it as much. Like, I must be fooling myself. I'm totally biased. Every time I drink it, I'm like, that wine is the bomb. I freaking love it. It defines.
Ziegler, right here.
I'm sorry. It's just flat out good.
Man, I hope you're gonna like the 21 too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure here.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to apply here.
We did skip.
No,
the
but
21.
you
Let me tell you one thing I don't know anything about: winemaking.
He does try. He texts me
He
every
does.
day.
I try to stop it, Maayan.
No, I
I'm
do.
like,
I'll ask him a little something, and all of a sudden he just starts sending me volumes of chemical, documentation. I'm like, oh my god, this guy really does know something.
I want to confuse you enough so you don't ask questions.
Mission accomplished, man. I'm like,
You're a doctor,
this
right?
guy, and he's doing this for a lot of different wines. It's very, very impressive.
But is that one of the favorite, for you guys growing up here, is that one of the things that you appreciate? Is it just your knowledge and access to just all these little stories and all this great wine that you just know, and the people, and you've tasted it for maybe when you're a high schooler.
Yeah.
Sorry, right? I think that is part of.
It's funny when you leave here and then you're like, people rave about some
They're like-
winemaker or some property. And you're like, oh yeah, that guy. We
grew up together.
Right, yeah,
Always.
yeah.
I think the first time I had Screaming Eagle was in a plastic solo cup,
Yeah, you did.
sitting at a ranch,
Avery's,
not too
yeah.
far
It's
from
a way to
here.
live.
I still,
And
I still haven't had
It's
it.
like the Sideways movie when he finishes
Right.
the last scene is drinking it from a plastic cup.
Yeah,
The
but
Zobrio.
exactly. You get to know the people, and it's just a different. I love reading a wine list when I'm traveling in some fun restaurant and going, oh my gosh, I went to high school with them.
Right.
I know this person. Ooh, I don't know.
Or even how is that wine?
I'm not drinking this one.
Yeah.
Or how is that wine? I agree with you on the wine list. Oh, that's cool. I wonder how that wine is on this list. When
Exactly.
it's especially unique, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
actually, you being in Charleston or in South Carolina for a while, that restaurant scene and that wine
It's
scene
amazing.
is really elevated
Yeah.
and great from even 10 years ago. It's
Exactly.
amazing, right? Yeah. Do you go back a lot?
I went back last fall, and my friend newly announced she was pregnant. She just had her baby last week. Congratulations, Megan. But so we didn't really get to go on the fun
Got it.
restaurant drinking experience I had anticipated.
Okay.
But maybe once a year.
Okay.
I love it
Yeah.
there, though.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, Bridget is quite a Francophile. She seems like she's in France every other week, and we were just there about a week or so ago. And we're always in a restaurant. There's always some sommelier or something, and we'll drop in there. I don't know, somehow randomly that we live in Napa Valley, and about only maybe 25% of them have actually been here, right? But 75% haven't, and it's always like, oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going there. I'm definitely going there like next year. And I'm like, I mean, it does make you feel like, yeah, we get to live in a pretty special place. I mean, a lot of
You
people
guys were born and
aspire.
raised here, but I still feel as a tourist, right? I came here 12 years ago, and I drive every morning, and I literally still excited about it, and man, this is a beautiful place.
Especially now that the sun's come out.
Yeah,
and
I love the winter. I don't mind. Spring rains are the best rains. I mean,
I
they're
like
best
the
farming
rain,
culture.
but this winter was long and cold and really rainy.
We need it.
The lakes are full, though. The lakes are full.
No, I feel the same way. On hour 8 or 10 on the tractor, maybe I don't feel the same way about the view occasionally, but for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. So let's. So the winemaking protocol you're using on this. What are you doing for sorry, I like to get nerdy a little bit, but
Please,
maceration
yeah, go for it.
and oak profile. What do
Yeah,
you guys
so I think for me anyway, winemaking, there's not a lot of secrets. It's all in the vineyard in the end. It's kind of very cliche to say because that's what we all like to say, but it's true, right? In the end, it's about finding the right sources and the right grapes and the right farmers. and and blame someone else if it doesn't work. Blame the grower after, but no, it's about, in the end, it's about the vineyards, and I think that's what's so beautiful about Napa Valley. And we still have we need to keep educating people about Napa Valley, because when you are in France or in Paris and you ask a sommelier about Napa, they think about Napa as in one place.
They do.
But Napa is so diverse, like every other great wine region of the world, and we are slowly educating people about the differences in AVAs, the difference in microclimate, and the soil types, and really we can craft different wines and not just big Napa Cabernet. So for me, it's about sourcing. I like dealing usually with older vines. I really like gravelly soils, so I'm alluvial fan, or some kind of a better drained soils, because I think we can make really great wines. And then from there is a lot about, that's my background. I did my master's in viticulture and growing grapes, not winemaking. I kind of figured that if I can grow grapes, I'll figure out how to make the wine later. And so that's where my focus always is, about the grapes and exposure and irrigation. So by the time I pick the grapes and start fermenting, I really have the best tools now to produce wine. And we have one chance a year, which is pretty crazy. We work all year long to have one chance, one moment in time to capture the grapes and ferment them. So it's a lot of stress and pressure, but it's also, I enjoy it. So for me, I love making those decisions. And
I always, as a novice, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what kind of window do you think there is when you're talking about you're trying to pick the best time to harvest, and there's a lot of grapes to be harvested, and they all can't be picked at 1 p.m. on this on Saturday. Is it a 3-day window? Is it a 5-day window? Is it?
Depends on the weather. The weather pattern is a key. We had 2022. We had a really big heat wave here in September, so that impacted our decisions, and we had to move much faster. But it's really also about what kind of wine you want to make, and we can impact the maturity with irrigation. We can manage canopy differently. So the windows depends on the style, right? It can be 2-3 weeks window of crafting a different wine style. We can pick the grapes earlier and fresher with higher acid, or a little riper with darker profile. We kind of look at the range of flavors between I use colors, but red, blue, and black. So where you are in this spectrum of flavors that you want to achieve. You want to go all the way black and dark cherry or plums, or you want to stay somewhere a little fresher, a little more vibrant. So so that's kind of how I see wine. And then fermented, usually it will be native fermentations, because I like to see what I'm getting from the vineyards. Nice. A little cooler fermentations over time. I believe of extracting over time and not too fast, just to give enough time for the fermentation to kind of shape itself. And after that, I only use French oak. I kind of find it the best for my palate anyway, and what I love. About 60 to 70% U oak usually. Some years less, some years more, but that's kind of the range. I think I've been dialing back a little bit with the years, because the grapes are getting riper, so we have to be careful with the climate change and the challenges we have out in the vineyards. We have to react in the wineries as well. So, and I'm a big lover of tannins. I think that in a new world like Napa Valley, with modern wines that are a little riper than Bordeaux, for example, tannins are a key for structure and aging. So every wine that I make personally, I think about aging and ageability. These are not supermarket wines. These are high quality wines coming from one of the best AVAs in the world, best wine regions of the world. So they always have to have a great ageability. So that's always in my mind, how can I impact that and make wines that will drink well young, but also we'll open it in 5 or 10 years and be still very proud, and these wines will sing. So that's that's a little bit of winemaking.
I think it's true to the grape. You've got that great bouquet, and it smells amazing, and you also have that oak that's so well integrated, you don't even know it's there, and it just works.
And oak, I think oak sometimes get a bad reputation. Oak is a spice. And I treat it like spices. I like to mix different cooperages and barrels that I like, and they're not overtaking the fruit. They're actually like cooking. You use multiple spices and not just salt and pepper. So that's the same idea with the winemaking.
Nice, beautiful. Well done.
I love that I told all of those French sommeliers and restaurant people about 9-1 wine, 'cause I'm sure they're listening right
Yes,
now.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. And they learn. Are we red, blue, or black? For DOGFARM.
They're going to translate to 12 different languages. So.
But one thing I think would be cool to be a perk of your awesome kids. I think he has awesome children, 2 boys and a girl. But you did tell me a while ago that you you say vintages, like they each have their own kind of, I'm going to call it a stash, but that's probably a crass way of saying it. Like they have their own collection of wines that you've been saving for them. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. So we moved here in 2011. I had a baby and now I have 3 kids, but I always say that I travel a lot. I'm busy, so one day I'm gonna have to tell them why I wasn't there and give some excuses. So I started a palette for each kid, and I've been collecting a bottle of wine of every wine I make since 2011 here in the Napa Valley. And one day each one of them are gonna have his own palette and kind of my life story of winemaking. And
I love that.
The story of your time.
And I hope they won't gonna turn around and sell it. I hope they're actually gonna drink it or do something with it.
Or just give it to them, and then when it's time for college day, and that's
right.
all
Here you go. Right. But I think that's just a really cool.
Make them rich.
There's DOGFARM there too.
Hey, the unreleased 18.
Exactly, unreleased 18. They have beautiful Screaming Eagles, other great wines.
That's pretty cool.
No, it's really cool.
It's just I took them away from our home. Israel is our home, so that was the idea of like storytelling, and that's how I see wine in general. I mean, wine is about about all of us here together, laughing and enjoying ourselves. It's about bringing people together. I mean, the excitement of people when we show wine and they love it. There's second to none. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And the more wine you show, the more they love it, and the more they drink it, the more.
The 4th, 5th bottle, they really love it. They want leaves.
Tell us about the label.
So they will talk about the label. I'll talk about the designer. So it's
beautiful.
It's really cool label.
It's so cool.
It's DOGFARM on the front with the texture of a nose of a dog, and we didn't want it to be cheesy, right? Because there's obviously everything is about dogs, but the dogs are just a symbol for what this brand is about and the family is about. The designer is Mark Wigard out of Chicago. He's an amazing designer that designed some famous brands around here like Tusk Wines and Melka and a few others. And he did lapel for myself. And I always loved what he's doing. He's thinking outside of the box and really try to create a story around the brand. So there are so many brands out there. So just a eye catcher, but also a storytelling through just a look of a label. And I think he succeeded.
I think we've gotten nothing but positive feedback on it. It's a little different to have a texture, on the label. I think it looks cool. It is somewhat understated, but still, eye-catching enough. There's a couple of like little taglines that we thought of when we were just trying to think about. One is "Follow your nose," which just kind of goes with wine, goes with dogs, goes with everything. We just didn't want it to be like, oh, we're for dog lovers. Like it has not. So the main tagline, that sophistication with the wink was DOGFARM. It's not just a place. And we didn't finish with like it's a way of life, because that is kind of the concept, right? Like the reality is we have dogs because like they are unbridled, unmitigated love every day, right? They literally are going to love you whether you have a good day or a bad day. And it's like the way we do it is not for everybody, right? I can't just invite anybody to come to my house and have 11 dogs and there's a lot of funny stories of people who came and realized this is not their place, and you can see it on their face. Like their nose wrinkles up, like, oh my god, dog hair.
Right, dog hair.
It doesn't faze me, and I like it. But it is a way of life. It's about love, it's about connection, it's about kind of spreading that joy. So I think that is the concept around the name, and the label really was just supposed to hopefully reference, yes, there's the spirit of the dog, not the actual physicality of it.
But also and they're also but truly, I also think that like it's funny, like again, you talk about not knowing stuff when you get into making wine, like you don't want a brand or even a label, not even a brand, a label. You start to go in like, wait, is this me? Like, is it not me? And you just kind of like, well, what is it supposed to be? You don't. For us, we didn't want it to be quote unquote fancy, right? Like, or not represented, like, or wanted to be representative of us. And so I think that our friend and partner Russ, he just one day we were just talking. He's like, oh, what if we just zoomed in on the texture of a dog's nose, and we're like, oh my god, yes, right? But it's really kind of stopping and going like, what actually matters to you? So for the label and for that, it just really came from try to simplify it more than try to be whatever. And again, avoid the cheesy dogness, because you can Google dog farm and you're like, there's a puppy mill in Indiana, right? And you don't want that, right?
I saw on YouTube the other day, and there's a golden dog farm of golden retrievers in
that's actually really
West Virginia or something.
No, it's here.
Vermont, because they make maple syrup.
Yes.
And you can come and you can enjoy their golden dog farm, maple syrup, but you can also spend time with their 15 golden retrievers, and for $75 an hour, you can go hang out with their dogs. It was a nice little news piece. I was like, that's almost kind of like
someone's doing similar.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
We can charge $75
pop up
before
right.
You guys imagine the bachelorette parties if you say vineyard walk plus dog.
Don't wear your nice clothes.
No, thank you.
Like,
Hillary's got a
girls
thing.
would eat this up. Yeah. I'll have my own bachelorette party.
My boss came and visited. He was the chief of surgery
a long time
at
ago,
VA
your
with
old
his
boss,
wife,
yeah.
and there she's used to own like the Hotel Coronado. I mean, dude, they're worth a lot of money. They were going to go to the French Laundry, of course, for dinner, and they show up.
They just stop by.
They just stop by. They come by. She's wearing a gorgeous, probably $5,000 dress. He's like, dog. Run up to her first dog, swipes down the front of her dress, this big just dirt mud stripe right down the front. Her driver and like, I don't know, another security guy usher her like Secret Service back in the car. And she's like looking, she's screaming out the window, I'm just gonna go change. And my boss and I are sitting there like, that didn't go very well.
Sorry.
But it's after lunch, French laundry.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
After French laundry would have been perfect.
Yeah. It's not for everyone, but it is for us.
Dog farm, then Ponches. You're set.
Oh, Ponches, where have you gone?
My gosh.
We miss you.
It's coming back.
It's
You know
coming
it's coming
back.
back.
Oh no! What?
Coming back.
Wait, what?
Pontius
This is
coming
big
back.
news. This
I'm
is
the
local.
last.
Keep it on the
So
down low.
Ren and Marilyn Harris of Paradigm.
Yeah.
This was in the
Bought
paper,
it. Yeah.
right? We
Yeah,
talked about
it's
this.
Not the
Okay.
police log, but
Yeah.
not yet.
I have one that would go along with that.
Yeah.
And this is not, I don't believe this was Pontius because it was closed at the time, but in October, maybe on the 1st, I don't know, around 18:30, what's that, 6:30
Yeah.
p.m., it's not very late, an unwelcome customer screamed and yelled at a bartender and tried to push her. Dispatch could hear the bartender instigating a fight with the man by saying derogatory words to him. An officer responded and helped defuse the situation.
Does that remind you of Pontius?
Thank you to St. Helena's finest. This might happen at a Pontius.
It might. Just might.
6:30 p.m. Very end of wine tasting time.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
People rolling.
One more. Yeah.
16:30, so it's even
before
closer to.
Yeah.
And do you have any other?
I've got one more I'll share here. This is a fun one. We all might know. October the 9th, Monday, 13:09, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A report of a woman riding a bike in the wrong direction on Highway 29 near Sulphur Springs Avenue whilst flipping people off.
Wow.
At least she's passionate.
I think we all know who that is. All right. Oh,
We all have our
bless
people.
her.
Bless her heart.
Exactly. So.
I feel like I have really boring ones. A man received multiple messages from an ex-girlfriend claiming that the police were going to arrest them. I don't.
I agree, Hillary. That's boring.
Yeah.
But,
Like it's. Oh, I do have
Were
a.
you the ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
oh, now it's a little spicier.
Yeah, that's more interesting.
Yeah.
Please tell more.
I don't think I would warn my ex-boyfriend he's getting arrested. I think the police would just show up. Like,
Yeah.
You're more strategic than that.
Yeah.
You're a little more clever.
You know what, Hillary?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even date that guy to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Bad news.
We all make mistakes. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I have one last one I think that was kind of interesting. Is this is October 1st, 3:17 p.m. A caller said a woman had thrown a bocce ball and broken the window at the old police department on Main Street. Police found a 36-year-old Calusa woman arrested on suspicion of vandalism, burglary, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. I just like that in the blotter, it was very specific about a Calusa woman.
Yeah. She's not from here. That's what they're saying.
I guess
Ain't
that
from
would be,
these parts.
yeah.
Oh
we won't
my
name
God.
her, but we will
And
say
they-
where she's from.
Yeah.
Even though she was not local, that may be the most St. Helena entry in the police
Yeah,
file.
that's
the
pretty
bocce ball?
detailed.
Bocce ball.
Where did
Yeah,
she
right.
find the bocce?
Yeah.
Like she's a long way.
Yeah, she had to walk
Yeah.
all the way to Crane
She
Park.
had to go from
and pick it
Calusa
up
to come
and
to her
sneak it
bocce.
away away from the very possessive owners of
That's where her weekly league team plays.
Wait, you all have a league, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I'm on the Calusa Critters.
Just
Kidding, I don't know.
We were on a bocce team at one
We
point.
lasted.
It was mostly from the
Hospital.
hospital. Adventist
We weren't dedicated
hospital.
enough for it, yeah.
Well, we found them sometimes asking us to sneak bottles of wine in, under the radar.
Yeah.
I said, that's how I knew. There are Adventists and there are bad.
They're good, but yeah, and we like bring them in. They're on the
That's
team.
right.
They are on the team.
911. I got a podcast for you guys.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, so where can we?
Don't worry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask the same exact question.
Oh,
If we wanted to try Dog Farm wine, wanted to buy Dog Farm
Yeah.
wine, how do we go
You
about
go to
that?
dogfarmestate.com.
Nice.
First, go by your bank. Make sure the Brinks truck has recently arrived.
Yeah, dogfarmestate.com.
Cool.
And when people
Easy
say, is
peasy.
it Dog Farm Estates? No, there's only one.
One.
estate.
One estate,
Dog
Singular.
Farm Estate.
Is there an allocation? How is the business model working here?
We'll sell as much to anybody that wants.
Yeah. We're obviously a small production.
Yep.
But yes, no, you can buy 3 packs of our Cabernet that we've released, our Sauvignon Blanc, and our Chardonnay. And then actually, there's a pop-up happening in Napa by Kimosabi. Do you know what Kimosabi is?
Okay.
Yeah. They're doing a pop-up for the next 2 months, kind of leading up to Bottle Rock, starting next week.
When
you
And
go?
we will be pouring...
And you
When?
know why? Because the storefront owner in Aspen, Kimosabi,
has 2 of our dogs. Yeah. And they're all coming out and visiting. And so we'll be pouring Dog Farm wine exclusively at their pop-up for the next couple months
love
through
it.
Bottle Rock. So
That's awesome.
that'll be fun.
we also have Dog Farm in Acme in town.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I love Acme. They're good people.
Yeah,
really like
yeah.
that.
No, it's so nice for people to be able to come and
Yep.
taste small production wines, and when they come to visit and have that experience. So we're
And that's the
grateful for that.
signature of Acme, right? They're such
Yeah.
insiders, and they
Yeah.
find these
Big
new
fan.
projects and want to support them, and it's
Yeah.
really cool.
They're good
So
people.
we,
Big fan. I'm
doing
glad
amazing
they
job.
moved to their new location.
Such a good spot.
yeah, it's such a great
So
spot.
much
Yeah,
better.
And like such a great spot. Shout out to
Yeah.
Acme. If you can send like people who are new to the valley there, they get a quick overlay of what's good and what they want to go to, and then
Well,
I tell everybody I know
First stop.
that
Yeah.
I know that loves wine that I said this is a hidden gem. Every time I get my Acme distribution for being in a wine club, it's like I start salivating.
we save it. We were like, oh, is this Acme night or is it like a regular night? And
Nice.
like, as you know, when you live here, people are kind of visiting, going like, where should we go? And I'm like, just to your point,
Start there.
go to Acme and have them start, and then you go. Yeah.
Especially if you want to learn about some smaller producers, local people. It's really cool.
Right, because for us, we don't really have a tasting room. I mean, but
You're sitting in it
we
right
have
now.
tastings, right? Exactly. Somehow, miraculously, and I'm sure that will change as we kind of grow. But I think a lot of those smaller production places, they don't, you would just not have no way to know about them unless you're just really in the inside club. So that's why I love living here.
That's the one.
Maybe we should put
We're
their
good.
own wine on CDs and sell it there.
CDs? Who deals with CDs?
Okay, maybe QR
Hillary, I
codes.
think you're pretty young.
Maybe
You're not
mixtapes.
40.
Maybe
You're
a
like
mixtape.
30.
Maybe a mixtape.
I might say
Oh,
a mixtape.
That's a cool idea. You can put it on a label.
Yeah.
You could get wines and sell it with it, and you could be like, would you like this package?
CDs.
Oh my god. I don't
Not
know.
even like a thumb drive.
I don't know where that came from. Good night, Hillary.
You guys haven't got it figured out. You don't need to go a different direction.
Okay.
you were
You've got to figure it out.
You were born
It's on Apple Podcasts.
Or wherever you get your podcast.
Wherever you get. We are on a lot of
Yeah.
streaming platforms.
We are. We're
But I do recommend to come here when there's puppies, because that's
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
the happiest place in the world
Yeah,
is right
yeah,
here.
it's fun.
It really is. And that's a great, two things to make you extremely happy: dogs and wine.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
exactly.
mean, can you beat it?
You can't go wrong.
Absolutely not.
No day, ever. Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Gan,
Absolutely.
Maya, and thank you guys.
Cheers.
This was really fun.
Cheers.
Bridget, this is
Cheers.
awesome.
Yes,
Cheers.
thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Glasses up.
Hillary, you are still smiling after that.
Well, it lived up to every expectation.
It was pretty incredible. I mean, those guys, that crew between Gan and Bridget and
It's
Good
a
group.
fun crew.
fun crew and
Great wine.
great dogs.
And Wallace got to come.
Thank God Wallace got to come.
So this is going to be our May episode that you just listened to right after Cinco de Mayo, kicking us off into spring. So we hope everyone enjoys. And remember to follow us on social media, 911 Podcast. All the words spelled out. Don't type in the number. We won't pop up. And hit 5 stars and subscribe and put a positive comment. If you want to comment negative, just don't.
Actually, we've yet to receive a negative comment. I'd love to see it, please. I know there's plenty of options out there for negativity.
Anyway, stay tuned.
See ya.
You enjoy your evening and be safe.